Community Storytelling, here we come, Season 5. I'm Lisa Chrysler. Thank you for being with us here at KCAT TV 15, my favorite TV station, and I hope it's yours too. So I have a wonderful woman here today who is going to inspire you to, well, we'll let you know what that's going to be soon. I mean, her story is amazing. Maria Yap. I've been making so many friends by doing this show. So Linda Lester, thank you for always supporting us here at KCAT TV 15. Maria Yap founded and works and owns and runs Peninsula Food Runners. You ever heard of it? I didn't think so, but you're about to learn a lot, and you're going to fall in love with this agency as well. Hi, Maria.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Thank
good.
you for being here. You do such wonderful, wonderful things in the community because you feed those who need to be fed, and you do it with basically what we're calling surplus food, I guess.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, what is left at a hotel or a restaurant or even a grocery store if it's perishable goods, things like that.
Yes.
Tell me how you started Peninsula Food Runners.
My goodness, there are so many things in my life that had added on to inspire me to start Peninsula Food Runners. I would like to say that it really started with my mother. My mother was a social worker, and she had 8 kids, and being the youngest.
8 kids?
8 kids.
Where were you born?
I was born in Malaysia.
Malaysia?
Malaysia. And, you know, she adopted me. After having her 7th kid, she had gone with a friend who wanted to adopt a child. So she went to this convent run by French nuns in Malaysia. And my mother was a social worker, so she knew the whole system. So she walks in with her friend, thinking that she's just helping her friend. And of course, at the convent, they usually have children run up to the groups of mothers and basically say, adopt me. Oh. And so I did the same thing. And
how old were you?
I was only 4.
4.
I was 4, and I ran up to this group of women. I looked at my mother, and I said, she has an angelic face. And I grabbed onto her skirt, and she's like, oh no. This poor child is grabbing onto me, and she's not letting go, and she couldn't say no.
Oh,
so
like she needed another kid, like a hole in the head.
She needed another one. So she came home with me, and she said to all my siblings, okay, you guys, I have a surprise for you, and I want you to treat her just like your sibling. And so that's how I became the 9th.
Did you have your name already, or she renamed you?
No, I actually had a different name, and so she renamed me just to make it. In Malaysia, I was known as, Mei Lee Yap, but when I went and saw Sound of Music, which is one of the few movies.
My favorite.
Well, I know. Well, Malaysian government is very strict, right? It had to be certain types of movies. So Sound of Music was it, and I came home and I said, I want to be called Maria because I thought I was going to be a nun. So long story short, I come here to United States.
Do you know why you were left at the convent?
Yes.
If you don't want to tell us, that's fine.
No.
I'm just nosy.
No. I was the 3rd child, and I was crying. I was crying out of pain. It turned out that I had an umbilical hernia, and my parents were really poor, and they couldn't afford it. So my parents went to the temple, and the medium there said, I think you need to give up your child. Your karma is not good, and you cannot afford it. Give her a chance. So they took me to the convent, and the convent took over my care, gave me surgery, and that's how I'm able to be here.
Did you know that story as a little one, or did you find out that later in life?
I found out when I was 10 years old, and I was a very naughty little child, I have to say. I discovered my adoptive papers, and I realized, I'm adopted. I just knew I had flashbacks. At a young age, you don't always remember things. I remember a couple things. I remember being in a car, hearing 500 miles away from home. I remember seeing my uncle's face, the driver. He was very kind, and I was very attached to him because he would always visit me. I remember my mom feeding me papaya the next morning, of all the things, papaya. So there are little flashbacks here and there, but I didn't quite put all the story together.
So even when you were in the convent running up to moms saying, take me home,
Yes.
you didn't realize what that all meant.
I didn't quite realize. All I remember, I mean, like I said, I get flashbacks. I used to hide behind the statue of Mother Mary because they had a big one with an alcove, so I would hide behind there. I was a very naughty child. I bit other children, so they had to put me in.
You did stop that habit, I hope.
Yes, I did. Thank goodness.
Oh my goodness.
So, you know, I have to say I am very fortunate, right? Here is a woman who didn't expect to adopt me, and she adopts me, and many, many years later, she brings me to the land, what we call the golden country. How many children who are adopted have the opportunity to come to America? A lot of times in Malaysia, when they adopt them to become servants. And here I am, I'm part of this family who loves me. And my mother brings me here. She gives me an opportunity for an education in Arizona. And so when I came out here and
You were how old at that point?
At that point, I lived in LA for a while, and I came up here when I was about, after college, about 25, 26. So I came up here and I lived in San Francisco. And I had worked for a pharmaceutical company, Glaxo, for many years. And then when I had my first child, I took some time out. This is when I discovered food recovery. I had gone to cooking school in between that period of time, and it was around 2008. I did my full program there, and and at the same time I was also taking care of my mother-in-law. She had lung cancer stage 4.
You are no longer a naughty child. You're a very good woman. You're a very good woman.
I love my mother-in-law. It's a blessing when you have people in your life that accepts who you are, and they embrace you. And so I really missed her. I took care of her till she passed, and that was also the time when it was very difficult to get back into working. By that time I had two children, young age. And so I said, well, my mother-in-law has passed. I'm kind of depressed. I need to go out and do something. So I went out and volunteered. I hooked up with an organization called Food Runners in San Francisco. And I realized that, wow, this is pretty amazing. Bringing food to all these shelters and the need. And what got me to start Food Runners in San Mateo and Santa Clara County was I was driving to Salvation Army in the city, and I'm watching the staff comes out, and he's dumping food, and here I'm bringing food, and I said, what's going on here? He says, well, we get so much food, we've got to make room for more food that's coming in.
And where's all the old food going? In the landfill, in the sewer, and
That's right. That's right. So it was like, wait a minute, something is wrong with the system. And I think what was happening was that, you know the most well-known recipient groups that you can take food to, but they get so overwhelmed that if they cannot turn around, if they don't have the infrastructure to store the food, or have partners that can share the food, then the food has to go somewhere, and it goes in a dumpster. So I came back to my husband, who at that time was, he's a computer engineer. And I said to him, this is really ridiculous. I'm bringing food and they're throwing food away. Our system is really not quite together. We are wasting food on every end.
How much food do we waste?
40% of US, we're talking about, 40% of all the food that's generated. We're talking about tons and tons of food, $165 billion that goes right into the trash, into the landfills. And at the landfills, we have short gases that are being produced, methane even being worse than carbon dioxide, right? And it's causing climate changes as we are experiencing it.
And this is food from hotels and
this is food from
restaurants
every possible. It starts at the farming, right?
Yeah.
Even at the farm level, all the way to our grocery stores, all the way to our homes. Matter of fact, they talk about waste from the home. Imagine you're walking out of the grocery store, you have 4 bags of food. You happen to drop one. You don't even turn back to pick it up. That's how much we're wasting from the home.
That's amazing. So you know what? We haven't even gotten to the good part of the story yet. We've got to hold on here. You know what? We're going to go take a visit to Leicester Square. I haven't been there in a while, so we're going to go there together. We're going to come back and wait till you hear how you can help, and wait till you hear what this wonderful woman, Maria Yap, is doing in the community. Community storytelling. We'll be right back. I'm Lisa Chrysler. So here we are at Leicester Square. I'm busy today. Started with Phil's Coffee, of course. I've already ordered my lunch from Super Duper. They'll be bringing it out to me curbside. I dropped off Toby Tobes, my cat, at the vet. He needs a rabies vaccine. I'm looking at the signs. We've got an MD, we've got attorneys, we've got realtors here. Leicester Square. Linda Lester, thank you for all you do, not only for Los Gatos, but for building this square for me. Well, welcome back to Community Storytelling. I'm Lisa Chrysler, sitting with the marvelous Maria Yap, who is with Peninsula Food Runners and is making a difference. So it's so fascinating to hear how you on your own said, I cannot let all this food go to waste. There are people who need it. So let's pick up the story. You start Peninsula Food Runners. Tell us how it works, how you get all this food, where it comes from, and bring Los Gatos into the picture.
Okay, so the old way of doing, of connecting people has always been through the phones and the emails. When I was complaining to my husband that, that we had this food distribution issue, he said, look, we live in Silicon Valley. Let me build you a system based on how you feel these runs could be more seamless.
Sure.
So he built me a system called Chow Match. Because he built the system,
Chow Match.
That's right, he's allowed to name it. And I said, we've had people say, are you matching kibbles for animals? And I'm like, and I said, well, I didn't have a choice in the name. He did. He programmed it. So what it does, it allows donors to get on board, create an account, and basically schedule a run, asking for a volunteer to come and help them pick up the food and deliver it to the recipients.
How many volunteers do you have?
Oh, we have over 1,000 volunteers.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, keep in mind that only about 30% of them are active. People will come, they will do food runs, and it's all based on flexible. I always like to say it's flexible volunteering. But when you do volunteer, it's double impact. When you think about feeding people, you're reducing food waste, and you're helping our environment. Matter of fact, it's triple impact.
Yes.
Right? I mean, and not only that, the feedback I've had from my volunteers is like, I never knew about this recipient. Matter of fact, I'm going to go and volunteer with them. I say, please do, because we want cross-volunteering. We want to build up our community.
So tell me who some of the donors are, the givers are.
We have a lot of corporations here that would have corporate diners or caterers that bring food in that we haven't even had the opportunity to service. The ones that we're already serving are like Palo Alto Network, LinkedIn, Trader Joe's, Whole Food. We have the very big ones who have been very, they have come aboard very early on. They saw the need for all the surplus food to be shared.
I'm wondering what happened during the pandemic, though, because you didn't have these companies bringing the food in.
You're right. And everyone says, what did you end up doing? Well, we ended up clearing out many of the kitchens. Imagine all the food that was in their kitchen sitting there about to expire. So we did a lot of huge runs where we had a van and it would be like 3 or 4 pickups, and it would be delivered and spread out among all the different recipient groups that were willing to accept food. Martha's Kitchen got a lot of food. The senior centers that were still ongoing, people still needed to be fed.
Absolutely.
Samaritan House, it's all these different groups that were still bringing, accepting food, and then they will repackage it and rebag it and redistribute it.
So give me some Los Gatos names. We must have some givers here.
Yes. We work with Oren Hamas, we work with Campo de Bocci, who was so gracious in providing us meals that we were able to provide to our families. We worked with some of the hospitals, as you know, many of them were putting so much time in taking care of our patients who needed it. So we wanted to say thank you so much
to our heroes.
Our heroes.
Yes.
And we also, our nonprofit was so nimble that we could not only just purely do food recovery, we started stepping in to help some of our senior centers to deliver food to homebound seniors. We worked with the Los Gatos Rotary, who helped us with distributing food. And also we worked with the Boys Scouts group, who created like a 500 boxes, care packages for seniors who was homebound, and we helped distribute it through Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart, of course.
Sacred Heart, because they knew exactly where the boxes needed to go.
Yes, Sacred Heart is so good at that.
Right, and so, we found ways to work. We also did a lot of deliveries. We had a donor who had a wonderful client, because when the pandemic shut down, the client had an event at the Giants. And so the client said, look, take the money, create the meals for families. And so our partner, caterer, Taste Catering, reached out to us and says, Maria, tell us where all the affordable family housing. And they created us beautiful meals. It was a bag of meal for 4. Families for 4. And
wonderful.
So, and every week had its theme. Like it would be Italian food for 1 week. It would, be Hispanic food for 1 week, so that people wouldn't get tired of the same food. And so many of the Catholic charity housing got, they were the beneficiaries of this food. And so it went all over the place, really.
Trader Joe's, I think they're
Trader Joe's, Los Gatos. Trader Joe's have always been so good.
Well, who doesn't love Trader Joe's? I think they have the best clerks around, and I just love going in there.
That's right, because you feel so upbeat, and they're always
you feel so welcome.
Yes,
so
exactly.
welcome. I know they're making money off of us, but they make you feel so welcome when you walk in.
And they're very generous with their donations too. So.
We have so many restaurants in Los Gatos, and grocery stores and things like that. How can we put people in touch with you to give their excess, their surplus? And volunteer as well. So
I would like you to know, with the climate bill that's in place by 2024, many restaurants are going to be encouraged to donate the surplus food. So join us. You're going to be asked to work with a food recovery group. So why not reach out to us? We will come to you. We will show you how it's done. The city and the counties are going to require that you sign some sort of contract agreement with a food recovery group. So reach out to us at peninsulafoodrunners.org, and you can call. And when you call, you'll get me, and I'll be able to walk you through the steps. So
peninsulafoodrunners.org. peninsulafoodrunners.org. Now, you do get paid. This isn't a volunteer position, is it?
No, it isn't. Matter of fact, I did it for 5 years without being paid. And
it's too much work to not be paid. It's too important.
I love what I do. I see the importance of it. It was my board members who said, okay, Maria, enough martyrdom. You need to get paid. Yes, I do get paid.
That makes me feel better.
I want to say thank you to all the people who financially understood our mission and stepped up to provide us the funding to keep our program going. We have wonderful foundations who have stepped up. We have groups from Los Gatos who have stepped up to assist us.
Yes, it could be volunteer days and things like
we
that.
have tons of volunteers. I want to say thank you so much, because you're making the difference for us.
You are a fairy godmother to the climate, to the economy, and most important, you're a fairy godmother to those who need food. And we have so many in this area. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
Maria Yap, oh my goodness. Thank your mother for bringing you from Malaysia and from saying, yes, I need an 8th child. Because we have you here.
Yes.
Peninsula Food Runners. What a story. What a story. And you heard it from the very beginning when Maria was 4, how it all became today.
Yes.
So community storytelling at its finest. I know you have a story Go to kcat.org, nominate yourself or somebody you know, have them sit right next to me. I'm Lisa Chrysler, and thank you so much for being with us today at KCAT TV 15.